In my last video, I made an American mistake. I read the date that Alberto wrote on the photograph for his father, 6/2/58, as June 2nd, 1958. But pretty much everyone else in the world knows I got those numbers switched. Only in America do we list it by month first, then the day, then the year. Everywhere else it's listed by the day, then the month, then the year. So it's not June 2nd, 1958. It's actually the 6th of February, 1958. It's still 2 months away from Holy Week, but now it's in the other direction. It's 2 months earlier, not 2 months later. I could never be a spy with an obvious American mistake like that. There is the story of one spy who got caught because he switched the knife and fork after he cut his meat, another distinctly American trait. Jack was good at noticing little things like that. One day he met a woman for maybe a minute and a half. Immediately afterward, Jack said, "I noticed her face. Either she had had chemo or she'd been on psych medications." Bam! Nailed it! Maybe Jack was good at that because he was both a skilled artist and an actor. And both helped him to identify tiny things about people quickly. I'll tell you more about that. And I'll tell you about a couple of nuns that picked out something interesting about Alberto Rivera. Where shall I start? Oh yeah. Hi, I'm David Daniels from Chick Publications. In Jack's senior year at Alhambra High School, he got into forensics, skilled public speaking, and he entered into a competition. By March 1942, he had become a finalist in the forensic tournament of the San Gabriel League. Jack's section was called the Humorous Declamation Division. That's where you recite something humorous written by somebody else, maybe even well known. And it's judged basically by how effectively your retelling of it moves the audience. Now it was Jack's turn. He started on his lines, and then suddenly everything went blank. Jack froze in position. His face, his body, all completely still. Then the words came back to him, so he resumed where he'd left off and finished the speech. He was glad that at least he had gotten all his lines out. He didn't think that with a mess up like that he had a chance. When it came time to award the winners, a judge said to Jack in front of the crowd, "That was the most powerful use of a pregnant pause I have ever seen." And Jack won first place in his division. Here's Jack with a number of other high school award winners. Jack's prize was a 2-year paid scholarship to the Pasadena Playhouse. The next year, an aspiring actor who was to make his debut performing was at the Playhouse. And though he couldn't afford to be a student, director Gilmore Brown made him a director. His name was Raymond Burr. People now think of him as Perry Mason or Ironside. Jack took his first semester at the Pasadena Playhouse and started his second semester, but on February 1st, 1943, he was given a formal invitation. "Congratulations, Mr. Chick, you are qualified to serve in the United States Army." 18-year-old Jack was drafted in the middle of World War II. But that's another story. When Jack came back from the war, he got back into the program at the Playhouse and he met two lifelong friends. The first was Rex Smith. They joked together, acted together, total friends. Here they are in a Playhouse production called Broken Dishes. Ironically, Unsaved Jack is the minister. Here's another one. There's Rex right there. The second was Lola Lynn Priddle. As with many actresses, in 1948 she changed her name to Lola Lynn Chick. As an actor, Jack learned to observe behaviors, the little things that set us apart from each other, that communicate a personality or even a story. This is from a special memories book that Jack made about the Playhouse days. It was copyright 1947. I have to show you this. Jack always remembered the day that he forgot his lines. So we all know the second influence in Jack's life, comic art. Jack started with airplanes and never stopped drawing. In 1949, an early comic by Jack appeared in Canada's Maclean's magazine, so his in-laws in Canada surely saw Jack's art there. Jack noticed a subtle humor in things. So here you see a sign with every possible welcome that there is, with a detour sign in front of it. Welcome, but not welcome right now. Even yesterday, Jack's friends retold the story to me about how Jack would be in a restaurant or in the car, and he'd say, "Look at those ears," or "Look at that nose." He was fascinated by the differences between people, and then he would draw them. Jack told me that early on he had drawn caricatures, and that's an art all by itself. He said it's very different from regular comic art. Some of you who are my friends who draw caricatures know that's true. Jack told me he'd have to work at it if he were ever going to do it again. But Jack observed people, and both his acting and his public speaking and his comic drawing helped Jack to be an observer of people. When Jack would take people to lunch, he always noticed who was kind or unkind to the help. Jack did not respect some major missionaries and preachers and authors who would act all nice to Jack, but then be rough with the server or not even acknowledge their existence. Jack and I always made friends with the servers. Any of them watching this right now can tell you it's true. The servers should be and were treated with respect by Jack. He also observed Alberto. Yet Jack would be the first to admit that although he was raised around Catholics, still another story, he didn't know the nuances that, say, a nun would recognize. And that's where Donna Eubanks comes in. Even the Catholic reporter for our Sunday Visitor, Gerald Sherry, who lied and told Jack he was a Christian bookstore owner in Las Vegas, had to admit that Donna really was a nun of the Sisters of St. Joseph for 23 years, who was promoted to teaching nun and later to Sister Superior. Donna and her Catholic nun friend Gracie saw Alberto and instantly recognized that he was trained as a priest. Here at Chick Publications, Donna and Gracie would giggle and laugh because they had this private little joke. They'd see Alberto walk and talk and behave in a way that was normal to him, and they'd call him His Sacerdotal Eminence and laugh to themselves when he'd leave the room. As Donna said it, when he'd walk into the room, we would see he's a priest. He acts like one. They have this manner about them that comes from years of being the head honcho. Their manner, it was bred into them. Alberto had it. Donna said, "There's no doubt." So Donna and Gracie had that private little joke. Because some mannerisms just don't go away that easily. We all have our behaviors that give us away. And according to 2 lifetime former nuns, Alberto had them. Old habits don't die that easily. So it pays to observe, like Jack and Donna did. God bless you, and have a wonderful day.